Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're checking out the mass exodus of Britain is a lie. Here's what's really happening.
There's been a lot of talk about record numbers of people leaving the UK in the last year, especially young people and millionaires. There are countless article headlines, news stories and videos about leaving broken Britain. Now, I don't know about you, but I just can't hear the term broken Britain anymore. It's become a kind of national refrain, a phrase
Stop.
once deployed by the Conservative Party in 2007, just to score political points, is now echoed all over the internet. It's almost like there's this...
Really, hang on. Y'all be sure to go to Brit in Germany and like and subscribe. Broken Britain is a term which was used by the UK's Conservative Party from 2007 to 2010 to describe a perceived widespread state of social decay in the UK under the tenure of Labour Party Prime Minister Gordon Brown. Okay, it's a political thing. Is it really happening though? I have seen a lot of videos saying that UK is falling apart and like all this bad stuff, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Let's see.
Just to score political points is now echoed all over the internet. It's almost like there's this digital desperation to try and see who can bash Britain the hardest. What started as a political slogan has become a kind of diagnosis, and in that diagnosis, many people seem to draw on the conclusion that everyone, not even everyone is leaving, everyone is escaping. But the reality is actually very different. Britain is not with...
Let me read some of these headlines. Hang on. Escape from Britain. Why young people are fleeing the UK in record numbers. Nothing works anymore. Tories accused of having broken Britain with public services in crisis. Paul Novak maybe? The new General Secretary of the TUC conference said nothing works anymore and no one in government cares as he launched a scathing attack on the Tories' record. Okay. Millionaires flee UK in record numbers. An estimated 16,500 millionaires are set to leave the country in the coming 12 months.
Different. Britain is not witnessing a mass exodus in any way, shape or form. Somehow the media has taken opinion polls and future projections as evidence that people have left. And I found this topic really interesting because I myself...
So they've taken opinion polls and used that as evidence that people have left. Interesting. So these politicians are saying people are leaving. People start believing that people are leaving. And then the opinion polls, they say, you think people are leaving? Yeah, I think people are leaving. And then that becomes the thing. That becomes evidence. Pretty wild how they can get away with that, isn't it? Kind of messed up.
And I found this topic really interesting because I myself am someone who has actually left. The truth is that roughly 0.1% of British citizens emigrate each year, a figure that's barely budged.
I'm sorry, I don't have the captions on. How many?
The truth is that roughly 0.1% of British citizens emigrate each year.
0.1%.
Figure that's barely budged in 2 decades. Now, according to data from the Office of National Statistics ending December 2024, total long-term emigration from the UK was around 517,000, which was up 11% from 466,000 in the previous year.
Not a huge difference.
Of these, just 77,000 were British nationals, meaning 85% of immigrants are foreign nationals, mostly returning home after finishing work or study, meaning that they went...
Okay, yeah, that's normal. They come to Britain, they go to school, they get their degree, and then they go back home. Pretty normal. I just read an article today about how television and movie projects are moving to the UK, leaving America, going to the UK. Because it's cheaper there. So for years, decades, 100 years, most TV and movies in the United States were made in Los Angeles, some in Vancouver, New York, a few other places. And then back in 2009, 2010 or so, Georgia, Louisiana, a few other places started offering tax incentives to television and film projects. So a lot of them moved from Los Angeles and New York and went to the Southeast. But now, within the past 2 or 3 years, all of those projects are going to the UK. All that work, the Marvel movies, used to be in Atlanta. Now they're going to the UK. It's all in the UK. And I saw an interview with Rob Lowe, the actor, And he said that he did a game show, just a game show. I don't know how much it costs to film a game show, but I can't imagine that it's more than a Marvel movie, right? Pretty low-cost production, I would imagine. Apparently, it was cheaper to fly the cast, the crew, an American crew of 100 people over to the UK, film this game show there, than it would have been to film it in Los Angeles on one of the backlots at a studio that is already set up to film a game show. There are warehouses, soundproofed warehouses, movie studios all over this town. But it was cheaper to take 100 people from Los Angeles, fly them over to the UK, get them hotel rooms, give them per diem, food, all that stuff. So, I don't know, I think you'll have an advantage. I started thinking, well, maybe I need to go to the UK. Maybe there's more work there. I mean, there is more work there for TV and film, right? Don't leave.
And the headlines that you may have seen about an exodus of millionaires from the UK also is completely fabricated. Like, apparently 9,500 millionaires left the UK in 2024, which is roughly 0.3% of the UK's millionaire population, which is actually statistically consistent with immobility, not mass departure. And this figure of 9,500 was based on a report by Henley and Partners, which is a firm that sells golden passports to the super rich and advises governments on setting up such schemes. So
they have incentive to say, hey, this is the popular thing to do. Just want to read that headline. Millionaire Exodus did not occur, study reveals. A millionaire exodus, widely reported by news outlets around the world in 2024 and credited for the UK Labour government's decision to weaken tax reforms, did not occur, the Tax Justice Network revealed. So these maybe lobbyists or politicians, whoever, they're trying to get this tax reform to happen. So they're saying, the millionaires are leaving, we need to cut their taxes. But they're not. Stay put, yo. Don't sell your house.
Supports to the super rich and advises governments on setting up such schemes. So it's obviously in their interest to exaggerate and dramatize the situation. So what is really going on? Why do so many young people say they're leaving when so few actually are? Well, it's an emotional topic, and the sentiment, at least online, is divisively negative regarding Britain right now. It's almost like I said before, like there's literally a competition to see who can bash Britain the hardest. There's even a growing cohort of...
Yeah. I've seen this. I scour YouTube looking for British culture videos every day. So many of them are negative. It's just people complaining. And I don't live in the UK, so I have no room to talk really. But I see it. I see the complaints. I don't think it's my place to say, stop complaining. Or, I don't know. I don't know what's really going on, but I see what he's talking about. I see these videos. It's a lot of work to sift through all the complaining to find a video that celebrates the UK. Because that's what I want to do. It's an amazing place. It's a beautiful country. Wonderful people. You're awesome. I'm not gonna cry. Let's move on.
Said before, like there's literally a competition to see who can bash Britain the hardest. There's even a growing cohort of people now that have a problem with the term the UK now. Just look up the UKification of Britain. And there's also quite a
Hang on. I'm also just now realizing that I think it is kind of a British thing to complain a bit. I've heard people say that a lot of the small talk in Britain between British people is kind of complaining about the weather, complaining about, a neighbor. And I wonder if that has blown up into this thing. I wonder if the politicians or these people who are trying to reduce taxes on millionaires are taking advantage of that aspect of the small talk and blown it up into this whole thing. the internet.
UK now. Just look up the UKification of Britain.
Hang on, I do want to read that headline. The process of UKification, YOOKAY. Our author takes a personal tour around an emerging country. The value of the word UK is that it reveals the reality behind the rhetoric of multiculturalism. Those who employ this rhetoric are most comfortable talking about new varieties of food and music, learning from other cultures, though exactly what is being learned is never specified, and vague notions of communities coming together. Multiculturalism as an ideal has always derived from the think tanks and editorials, but insofar as the vision is based on real places, they are the fashionable areas of cities like London, places like Brixton or Hackney, for example. These neighborhoods have food and music and diverse communities living in close proximity, even if the diversity here serves primarily as a backdrop. Interesting.
The UKification of Britain. And there's also quite a few people that don't like the term Britain and have a problem or claim that British identity does not exist. And so
I reacted to a video about Scottish people not considering themselves British. I've also reacted to a video about Welsh people not considering themselves British. So I can confirm that there is a anti-using the word British, right? Like, because these communities have their own identity, you know? And that's cool. That's great. Yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say exactly. Just that I can confirm that I've seen the same thing.
And have a problem or claim that British identity does not exist. And so when you really go down the rabbit hole, the identity rabbit hole of this piece of land off the coast of the European continent, it becomes really difficult to know what to call this place without offending a large portion of society.
Oh,
but
okay.
Look, it's not inconsequential. It is not unimportant that there is so much confusion over terminology and identity here. Every country has its problems. But, as this video represents, which I'll link up here that I did on why the British think they're not part of Europe.
Oh, I reacted to that. It's really good. It's really good. Check it out. Maybe watch his first and then watch my reaction afterwards, right? Because, give him the view, right? He's very smart and he's a nice guy. He's very kind.
Represents, which I'll link up here that I did on why the British think they're not part of Europe. Basically, that video represents that the UK or Great Britain, whatever you want to call it, is going through a massive identity crisis and has been for some time. And this is partly where this malaise of digital doom and gloom is coming from. But we must not make the mistake of confusing complaints and apathy with actual movements.
Yes.
When a post about getting out of Britain goes viral, it can really feel like everyone's packing their bags. And when 72% of young Brits tell the British Council they'd consider working abroad, it can sound like, maybe they've left.
Okay. Yeah. The internet blows all kinds of stuff up out of proportion, doesn't it? Hang on. Majority of young people considering a life and work outside of the UK. Considering. I think that's a healthy thing, right? Consider it. A majority of young people in UK who have not yet lived abroad would consider moving to another country, a new study has revealed. According to the British Council's Next Generation UK 2024 report, nearly 3/4, 72% of UK-based 18 to 30-year-olds would consider leaving and working in another country in the short term or long term. Their primary motivations include enriching cultural experiences, the perception of a better quality of life, and enhanced job opportunities. I feel like that's normal. I know in the States a lot of young people consider doing that. After high school, before going to college, they'll take a gap year, work, maybe go to, backpacking in Europe. That's a whole trope, right? It's a stereotype.
It can sound like, maybe they've left, but thinking about wanting to is not the same as actually leaving. But as you may have noticed, in this current age, feelings and emotions are getting more and more traction, are becoming more and more important. And speaking of feelings and emotions, CyberGhost, who are kindly sponsoring this video, care deeply about your digital freedom. Now, I totally relate to this sentiment of wanting to get out and see if the grass is greener, because I was in that place in my early 20s, and so I left. I left Britain for good in 2008. I went to China and was there for 2 years before moving to Germany.
Wow.
And you may have forgotten, but in the aftermath of the Iraq War, during the Blair Brown years, you could hear the exact same complaints that you're hearing today up and down the country throughout the early 2000s, and then of course in 2008 with the financial crash. Young people were really struggling then, as they are now. And I had the feeling that everyone was leaving because, well, I joined a program run by the British Council, and many people that I knew personally were leaving. And yet throughout the early 2000s, just 0.06% to 0.1% of the UK's population emigrated each year. Wow. And so there have been no drastic shifts of British people.
That's about the same, right?
And so there have been no drastic shifts of British people leaving in droves. It's just not true. So why does this narrative persist? And maybe more importantly, who does it serve? Because the story is useful. It's useful for individuals, for institutions, and also very useful for the algorithms that profit from spectacle. And so for individuals, and really I can speak here from personal experience, because this is exactly how I felt when I left. Especially the young and the disillusioned, the fantasy of escape is a coping mechanism. If nothing is working where you are, you really try to cling on to sort of an imagined future, a fantasy that if you go over there, everything's going to be better. And it really offers an imagined exit from this reality that feels increasingly claustrophobic in an environment where housing is out of reach, where career paths are extremely uncertain, and politicians just don't get it. It is so tempting to revert to the fantasy of the grass is greener. And you're in this context saying,
you'd really just be swapping one problem for another, right? If y'all would move to another country, where would you go? I'm curious to know. I have seen some videos of British people reacting to things in America, and they seem, I don't know if it's genuine or not, but they seem like, wow, America, so awesome, it's amazing. But we got problems, y'all. Things are scary here. It's not going great. I mean, I'm thankful for my lot and what I got going on. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for the cards I've been dealt. But damn, it's scary. So just speaking from an American, like, don't. It's not. Well, like he's saying, the grass is not always greener. That's all.
I want to leave, or I'm gonna leave, I have to. This isn't like just sort of some ambitious, aspirational goal. It's a form of protest. It's a way of saying, I don't belong in this version of Britain. I do not agree with it, and I want to wash my hands of this mess. And again, I could say that these are just feelings and that they don't reflect reality. But if enough people believe something to be true, then it kind of is true. Like, it definitely affects and influences reality, at least when we're talking about culture and society. Now, for media and political...
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I have heard that a lot of, when the orange face one was re-elected, a lot of people with the means to move went to the UK. Interesting.
At least when we're talking about culture and society. Now, for media and political actors, the Exodus narrative plays another role. It dramatizes discontent without addressing its causes. And so it's easier to amplify stories of brain drain or fleeing youth than to confront the systems that actually make people want to leave in the first place. Like, it lets governments off the hook and blames global trends, or instead of asking, why nurses seem to need food banks and why teachers are quitting in droves. And then, of course, there's the digital machinery, like social media rewards emotion, not...
Okay. So by focusing on this, people are leaving. They're not having to address that teachers aren't paid enough and nurses aren't paid enough, right? And conditions are bad. Interesting.
Drove. And then, of course, there's the digital machinery, like social media rewards emotion, not evidence. And the more dramatic the story, the more engagement it gets. So everyone is leaving performs far better than emigration rates are stable. It fits the doom cycle. It validates our cynicism, and it just makes us feel like we're not alone in our discontent, even if it's not actually true. And that matters, because when the dominant story becomes Britain is broken and everyone wants out, we stop asking, the actual difficult questions which could lead to improvements. Like, what are the actual structural problems? What needs to change? What's worth staying for? And what kind of future are we capable of building? Here in the UK,
That's the emotion of it. I live in California, for those of you that don't know. During the pandemic, there was a lot of talk about people are leaving California, moving to Texas, moving to wherever. And that didn't sway me. I love California. I'm not going anywhere. It's awesome here. But it gave me a similar emotion as to the way I feel about the stock market, like the buy-sell thing. Oh, I need, the stock's going down. I need to sell. Oh, but should I wait for it to go back up? It's a similar feeling. The fear of missing out, the fear of making the wrong choice. It's scary. It's really scary. But when actually a lot of times it's better just to hold on to the stock. It's probably going to go up, right? Probably. Even if it crashes, it's probably going to go back up from there. Buy more, right?
what's worth staying for, and what kind of future are we capable of building here in the UK or elsewhere. And so when we engage with the deeper underlying causes, we refuse to let despair become our only compass. And so the real problem I have with this narrative is that most young Brits have not left the country physically. Like that's the real crux of the matter. Like, they are still there physically, but if opinion polls and online discourse is to be believed, they seem to have left it psychologically, like they've just left in spirit. A 2024 poll from More in Common found that 50% of Britons say they sometimes feel like strangers in their own country. And that figure rises to 66% among 18 to 24-year-olds. And in another survey,
Oh, that's interesting. Our new public opinion research lays bare the challenges facing social cohesion in Britain today and the urgent need for a renewed focus on strengthening societal bonds, community connection, and neighborhood trust. These findings are announced as Citizens UK, UCL, and More in Common launch This Place Matters, a new project designed to provide local and national governments with a blueprint for what an effective cohesion policy looks like. Yo, what if it's as simple as getting the pubs back? Stop closing the pubs. Subsidize the pubs.
and that figure rises to 66% among 18 to 24-year-olds. And in another survey, just 41% of Gen Z said they feel proud to be British. So the disillusionment runs
Interesting. I think there's a sense of not wanting to do some things, shutting your door and not actually wanting to be involved with what's going on outside. I feel that way every day. And that really is not. These are villages, but they do lack some of the community spirit that was once there. Pubs.
Of Gen Z said they feel proud to be British. So the disillusionment runs deeper than policy failures or party lines. It's a sense of emotional detachment from any clear future they can believe in. They seem to be unplugging from the national story, and it seems that they may not just be quiet quitting work, but the country and culture in general. And so this is what makes the Exodus narrative so tempting, but in its inaccuracy, it is actually papering over the real tragedy. A problem far greater than people leaving is people staying who don't want to actually be there, like people who've lost trust, lost hope, lost emotional investment, who've essentially given up and checked out. Like, it's very easy to see this in the context of a company. Like, if you have employees who are just like, who've checked out, it will ruin the company. And I don't think it's any different when it comes to a country. And so when you stop identifying with a place, when you no longer see your reflection in its institutions, in its culture or imagined future, what reason is there to stay, even if you never actually leave?
The impression I'm getting is that a lot of it could have to do with social media. I know in general, in the United States, we've lost the monoculture, We don't watch the same TV shows We don't listen to the same music. It's all scattered. Everyone's doing their own thing. Because of social media, because of streaming television, I can listen to whatever song I want on the phone. I don't have to rely on the radio to select the music for me. I don't think that's going to change if you move to another country. It's just kind of the human culture right now, honestly. It's every country.
Moving abroad to a foreign country is amazing. You know, it just comes with so many benefits and challenges, of course. If you're using money as an excuse, that is not valid. If you're in your 20s or 30s, you do not need money to move abroad. You don't have to have a business. You don't need to be a digital nomad. I did manual labor for a year, so just do what you've got to do. If you're from the UK, there are hundreds, thousands of programs that you can join, but moving abroad is not a magical solution. It is hard, you know, especially like on a personal level. It's lonely. You will doubt yourself. There's a lot of like self-worth issues that come up. And so I know that most people will never do it. But one of the byproducts of attempting to leave, even if you end up going back, is that it really makes you appreciate your own country that much more. Often by going to another place, you begin to see things very differently and your perspective will shift.
That's so true. I remember when I first moved out of the southeast of the United States. I grew up in Florida, and I lived there till I was, I guess 23? And then I moved to New York City, and it wasn't until after I left that I could appreciate it, because I could see it from the outside. When I was there, I was like, I don't like it here. You know, dumb rednecks. I don't know, like, I was just sick of Florida. I mean, Florida's a special case. It's a strange place, but it took leaving for me to appreciate it and to miss it a little bit. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, y'all. It's so true.
You begin to see things very differently and your perspective will shift. And you might actually realize that there are just so many amazing things about this country. You know, the people, the culture, the countryside, the history and the heritage. And you just can't see that if you're deep in the depths of despair. And so I suppose the purpose of this video is to reassure you that the number of people leaving Britain has not increased in the last 20 years. There is no exodus of the young, there is no exodus of the talented, of the highly skilled, or the rich. And so if you're not ready to take the leap and move abroad, then that's fine, make peace with it, it's okay, you don't need to leave. Just find your people, build something small and real, contribute to a scene or a subculture or a project, because culture isn't a given. Like culture, it doesn't just exist, it has to be built. And if the mainstream story no longer reflects you, then it's your job to rewrite a new one. The most subversive act in a system that you feel is collapsing isn't to escape, it is to create an alternative path, to plant roots and to choose optimism in a supposedly doomed world. So thank you so much for watching. If you value privacy and security online, then do check out CyberGhost and take advantage of the discount that they are offering. This application will protect your data while you browse and give you full access to all blog content on the internet for just €2.03 a month.
Oh, y'all be sure to go to Brit and Germany and like and subscribe. I want to listen to that last little blurb he said there. The most subversive act in a system that is collapsing isn't to escape. It is to create an alternative path to plant roots and to choose optimism in a supposedly doomed world. Yes. Yes. Yo, if you're unemployed and you can't find a job, get into the TV and movie industry. Just saying. You don't need a degree to set up a light. I don't think. You don't need a degree to hold a boom mic. I don't think. But all that work is going to you. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Y'all, I am a UK fanboy. I love the culture. The people are wonderful. I love the people. I'll say I love the people. In general, all of you, choose optimism, y'all. I know it's not easy. I'm not able to do it all the time. It's a lot easier to be miserable sometimes. I heard somewhere that when you get negative emotions and positive emotions kind of They both give you that adrenaline kick. Once you get addicted to that, choosing the negative side is a lot easier. Choose that optimism, y'all. I know you got it in you. I have hope. Let my illogical American hope come to you. I'm looking at a camera lens, but I'm sending it to you. Here we go. Can you feel it? I felt something in my hand when I did that. Like a little warm, fuzzy energy. Oh, that's air. Y'all don't listen to those jerks trying to justify tax breaks for millionaires. Right? Don't listen to them. Don't listen to those politicians. Don't read those articles. Don't listen to all that crap. Don't listen to it. You're in a good spot. Y'all got the art. Y'all got good food. No matter what anybody says, you got some good food. Ribena, Jaffa cakes, chicken tikka masala. I hope you're not feeling down about it. Let me send you a little more. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? Probably not, but I don't know if you believe in that. I'm sending it. I don't know if it's making it over there. There's a hurricane in the Atlantic right now that might skew it. It's going up to Greenland. They need it too. Well, this is getting weird. I'm gonna... okay. I'd like to thank my patrons. I'd like to thank my Buy Me a Coffee folks. Thank y'all for watching this with me. I just spelled coffee. Thank y'all for watching this with me. I'll send dripped coffee to you. And I'll see you next time. Later.